Yo, what's up, sports bettors? I got a 3-pick parlay, one NBA bet, one NHL bet, and one MLB bet, and we're going to go through the math behind parlays. There's a common misconception that, parlays can't be profitable. That's absolutely false. That's completely false. If every bet in your parlay, if every pick in your parlay is profitable, your parlay will be profitable. So we're going to run through, most people, they just can't make money betting on straight bets. So they're definitely not going to be able to make money betting on parlays if you can't make money betting on straight bets. But anyways, let's get into my plays. Let's get into the first pick, which is Jason Tatum over 4.5 assists. So this one I bet earlier, so I'm not able to re-bet it. But long story short, my first pick is right here with a 1.4% profit margin. Celtics Hawks, Tatum over 4.5 assists. Right, so what you're going to notice is literally every sportsbook, except Bovada, I guess, but Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook in the world, Bet Online, another really sharp sportsbook, Bet Rivers, Caesars, DraftKings, all these sportsbooks have Tatum's over 4.5 assists as the favored outcome. And we're getting plus money on Fliff, right? So if you think about it, plus money means you're betting 100 to win 100. So you're betting 100 to win 100. So you only need to win 50% of your bets at plus 100 odds to break even, right? If you go 50 and 50, 50 wins, 50 losses, betting at plus 100 odds, your net profit will be zero. But what you're going to see is every sportsbook, except Bovada, I guess, but every sportsbook is telling you, hey, Tatum's over is the more likely outcome, right? FanDuel has his over favored. Lines are juiced towards the over. The over is the favored outcome. So all these other data points in the market are telling you, hey, Tatum is more likely to go over as opposed to under. So this bet's going to be hitting over 50% of the time. So because we're getting plus 100 on Fliff, where your break-even win rate is 50%, and this play's probably winning 52-ish% of the time, 51%, whatever, this play's profitable, right? All the data points, all the sportsbooks are telling you Tatum's over is more likely. He's more likely to go over 4.5 assists as opposed to under. That's why sportsbooks have the odds juiced, right, in favor of the over. So long story short, we can quantify kind of, the exact win probability for this bet using a no-vig calculator. So what this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's market, right? So you can see Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker out there. They have Tatum's over, his over 4.5 assists, as the slightly juiced, slightly favored outcome. They have this at minus 122. They have the under at minus 108. So lines are juiced towards the over. The over is the favored outcome. So what we can do is, we can put this line into this market, minus 122, minus 108, into a no-vig calculator. And what this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's market, industry standard calculator. You got to understand how a no-vig odds calculator works. It's the most important calculator in sports betting. But what this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's market. So we know Pinnacle, as well as basically every other sportsbook, right? TonyBet, all these books, right? Except for Bovada, they all have the over for Tatum favored. So we know the over is going to be hitting over 50% of the time. We know the over is more than 50% of the time it's going to hit, but we can quantify that. So according to Pinnacle, they have the over juice to minus 122. Tatum over 4.5 assists is going to be winning 51.42% of the time, right? So this bet's going to be winning 51.42% of the time. So basically, this play's winning 51.42% of the time, according to Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook. We're betting 100. So it's like flipping a coin, right? Betting 100. So at plus 100 odds, imagine you and your friend are flipping a coin for $100, right? You and your friend are flipping a coin for $100. That's basically plus 100 odds. You win, you get 100. You lose, you get 100. You and your friend are flipping that coin for $100, but the coin is weighted to show up on heads. Right? So obviously you'd pick heads, right? If the coin is weighted to show up on heads and it's more likely to show up on heads, 51.42%, and you're flipping it with a friend for $100, you'd want to pick heads. So you can see that's a profitable bet, right? Positive expected value. The EV is positive. The profit margin is positive. So that's exactly what OddJam is doing, right? It's scanning all of these lines on Prize Picks. I've given out some bets on Prize Picks, but OddJam is reading in, tens of thousands of lines from Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, Fliff, all these different sports books. Millions of odds are updating in real time, tens of thousands of odds across all these sports books. And OddJam is just pointing out those rare few betting opportunities, right, where you actually have an edge, right? So out of, out of all the different books, right, the tens of thousands of odds per book, you can see there's not that many profitable bets on OddJam. You're really hunting for those rare few, spots where a sportsbook is screwing up, right? So here, Fliff is screwing up big time because they're giving us Tatum's over at plus 100 when all the books have his over favored, right? All the other data points in the market, you treat every sportsbook, this is how sharp bettors think, you treat every sportsbook as a data point, right, on where the line should be set. That's how you think as a sharp sports bettor, and all these books are data points telling you Tatum's over is favored, so because you're getting plus money, that's a no-brainer play to go with. So that's the first bet I went with in my parlay. Then on to the MLB, we can see Hayden Wiekinski, under 4.5 strikeouts. All the books have his under heavily favored, bet online minus 149, Pinnacle minus 128. So once again, we'll go back to this little no-vig odds calculator, most important calculator in sports betting. You put in Pinnacle's market, they have the under at minus 128, the over at plus 118. So this under is 55.03% to occur. And then finally, we'll go on to hockey. Right, you can find value in any sport. Pinnacle has the Lightning plus 130, minus 144. So the Lightning are underdogs, and they're winning 42.42% of the time, according to the betting market on the sharpest bookmaker. So we now have the win probability for each of our bets. Tatum over 4.5 assists, Hayden under 4.5 Ks, Lightning money line. Right, all these bets are uncorrelated, so the win probability for our parlay is you just multiply all these win probabilities together, right? According to the sports books, Tatum is slightly favored, right? According to all the sports books, Tatum is slightly favored to go over 4.5 assists. So you multiply all these numbers together, and you see, hey, our parlay is winning 12% of the time. We're getting plus 778 odds. I'm betting $250, so then you can back out the EV of your parlay. So essentially, 12% of the time, I'm winning my parlay, 1.9K in profit, roughly 1.95K. The other 88% of the time, I'm losing my stake at $250. And this is a profitable parlay, and I'll include this spreadsheet in the description. So I'll include this in the description, but this is a profitable parlay with a profit margin of 5.39%. So now I'll flip over. I'll show you my bet on Fliff very quickly, and then that'll be that. Yo, so here's my parlay on Fliff. I mean, I just do this to show you I'm actually betting these things, right? I'm actually putting my money where my mouth is. So I locked this in for $250. I say this in every video. I'm just showing you guys where I find value, what I'm putting my own personal money on for the sports books that I use, right? If you're in a different place, you may have different sports books available to you, but the same concepts of finding profitable bets, finding profitable plays with an edge, it applies to betting on any sports book, TonyBet, FanDuel, DraftKings, Prize Picks, Underdog, whatever. So hopefully, video was helpful. Let's make money.